I honestly don't know what number attempt this is, because I have been trying to record this for months, but at the same time I've been processing this also, and will continue to process my daughter's birth for years to come. But I feel more settled into it, at least to be able to share it. So I'm going to do my best, and it felt appropriate for the birth of my new vlog or vlogging venture, because I've also attempted to vlog in the past and I would just quit. But it probably just wasn't the time. It was premature. And even though it's easy for us to think at 30, I'm turning 30 in less than a couple of months, it's easy to think that I am actually late to the game and late to starting something like this. But the truth is, our life happens in seasons, and different things are appropriate in different seasons. And yeah, I think that that's such a great way to see life. Like in this season, I'm a new mom, and there are certain things that just don't fit right now, but that doesn't mean that they won't in the future. And yeah. Anyways, let me jump into it, because my daughter is taking her nap, so I am trying to take full advantage of that. And yeah, so I actually didn't know that I had a girl. We waited until birth to find out her gender and her sex. Yeah, I think I might have convinced the both of us that I was having a boy, but surprise, surprise. And honestly, when I was looking at her after I had pushed her out, I thought that she might have been a boy. But no, they're like, no, you got a girl, she's a girl. And my friend said that it was going to make sense, because I had asked her, like, do I just look, because I had it somewhere in my I could have found out. She's like, no, just wait, it's going to make sense. And it made sense. It made all of the sense, because I firmly believe that if I had a boy, for my first, it would have affected me differently. Like, it would have influenced me differently. Whereas having a girl has naturally made me soften even more, and is inspiring a more soft life for me to live, which I have always wanted to live. I never wanted to hustle per se, and while I believe in hard work, I didn't want to have to work hard, in that sense. I mean, having a child is hard work. So it's not so much that I don't believe in hard work, but I didn't want my life's work to feel like, I don't know what word I was looking for, but like I'm seeing like when someone's walking through like snow and having a hard time, or walking through mud, I feel like even more so, it's very hard to like walk through. I didn't want my work life to feel like that, my life's work to feel like that. And it never felt like it should be that way. That being said, I have wanted to be a mother, and since I was a little girl, and I knew that I was meant for motherhood since I was a little girl. It felt so natural and innate. And when I say like little girl, I mean as young as 9 years old, I knew that I wanted children, and I wanted a supportive partner and a healthy family. Like, it was so important for me to have a healthy household, a happy family, because growing up, I lived in a fairly unhappy household and family dynamic, and that has influenced my perspectives, and just a lot of things, but I choose to take those experiences, and I continue to take those experiences and do better and connect to others, understanding that our childhood, our households, our environment growing up affects us in more ways than we might realize growing up and becoming adults ourselves. And so that has impacted me to have that heart's intention and that goal to not only have a family, but to have a healthy and a happy one. But let me get back to my daughter's birth story. I just wanted to share a bit of background. So yeah, I gave birth to my daughter back in December, and I have known that I wanted to have a home birth for as long as I thought about actually becoming pregnant and giving birth. When I started to think of the actual setting, I knew that I did not want to give birth in a hospital. Just knowing myself and knowing that I can get nervous and anxious very easily and become very tense, and I just knew that if I was going to be in a hospital setting, there was more probability that I might feel more nervous and anxious than I would relax, calm, safe. And I wanted to give myself the best chance possible, the best opportunity to have a labor and delivery that I could be happy about. Now, that being said, labor was very hard. And I really didn't know what to expect. And I think that I kind of had an inkling that it wasn't going to be, well, I knew it was going to be easy, but I kind of had an inkling that it was going to be really hard, really tough to get through. And I was right, because whenever I had said, you know, I want it to be like easy, or I tried to imagine myself like having a very like calm birth, labor, and such, like it didn't feel true. Like it didn't feel like that was going to be the reality of it. And it wasn't. I labored for, let's see, the late night, sorry. I don't want to give exact dates, so I'm trying not to. But I gave birth, was it Wednesday or Thursday? Oh, now I'm forgetting the day of the week. Oh my goodness. But I started having contractions late night, and then later that day, I was having contractions, were getting closer and closer by the afternoon, and contractions got more intense by like around 7 p.m. And I started contemplating around 7 p.m. asking my doula, arranging for her to come out here, because she lives in Brooklyn and I'm pretty deep in Long Island. And so yeah, I was contemplating having her come out here. The midwives, they recommended that I forgot what I took. They recommended me taking something and taking a hot shower to relax my body and see if that helped. But yeah, contractions just got more and more intense, and I felt like I needed that support. So I think my doula arrived, I don't know if it was around midnight or before midnight. It was either midnight or before midnight. She arrived, and a few hours later, I actually asked one of the midwives if they could come and check where I was at, because contractions were super intense. For me, I had a lot of my labor was in my lower back, so that's where the intensity was. It was in my lower back and my tailbone. I felt the intensity mostly in my tailbone, and throughout my labor, they were trying to get me to be in different positions. Man, they were intense. And funnily enough, like I've pretty much forgotten like exactly what it's felt like. Like I can't, like I don't feel it. Like, you know, when something happens and you can almost feel what it felt like I almost don't remember. My doula said that this is going to happen. She said, after you push your baby out, you are going to forget all of this. And it's true. Like, it's true. And it's hard to believe in the moment because of just how intense it can be. but I did. That being said, I do remember just it feeling debilitating. um I I said that I didn't think that I was going to scream, but I was, yeah, I was yelling. I was very loud. I was very vocal because it was the most intense feeling that I have ever felt, um, like by far. Like labor was, it was the hardest thing. That was the hardest thing that I have ever done in my life. And in turn, it's the biggest achievement in my life so far. I mean, it was a marathon. It was hard and it was long too. I labored for really, again, I didn't know what to expect, but I labored for, let's see, early labor was in the afternoon the day before, so it was over 24 hours. Easily even, let's see, 6, it was around 30 hours. I labored for around 30 hours in total. And it's funny, one of the midwives, Rachel, she told me, she's like, at one point she goes, you'll probably give birth to her like around, I think she said like 9 or something like that, or maybe it was later. And in my head, like, so I think something clicked for me, like that caused something to shift in me, because I was like, no way. I was like, I do not want to be laboring for, I think that would have been like, I don't know, I think whatever time it was, like I think it was like around, it would have been like at least 4 or 5 or 6 more hours. I'm like, no, I can't. I'm like, I don't want to. I didn't want to. And funnily enough, like shortly after, I was like, no, like I'm not trying to push, like it's happening, like the involuntary like pushing that your body does, that started happening. I'm like, this is different. I feel like I've skipped a lot getting to that part. Let's see. So I was able to give birth at home, and I honestly wasn't sure. There were so many moments where I had my doubts. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it, because it, not only was it hard, I mean, I was willing to keep on going, but I was very fatigued. I was dehydrated. I didn't want to eat anything. Everything was so dry because I was dehydrated. It was hard to get anything into me. Yeah, because of that, it made it that much harder, because I was getting more and more tired. I napped a couple of times. I think that one time I napped for like maybe an hour or less than that, and then another time I napped for a little bit as well, just because I was so tired. And I said that, I just said, like, I'm so tired, I just wanted to sleep. But you know, they did tell me, my midwives did tell me, they said, you know, if you do, you know, you rest, the contractions will be farther apart again, which means that the labor is just gonna be it's just going to be longer. So, you know, they were so helpful, because I know that was it wasn't easy, but they were trying to help me with different different positions and different trying out different things to, again, like help labor move along. We did have a pool, which I used for a bit, but I didn't give birth in, which is funny because when I was pushing, when I felt like it was time to push, they had filled up the pool, and I ended up not using it. It's really, it's really funny, but we don't have a lot of space where we are, and so when I would walk around, it was really like from here to the bathroom, and just as I'm going like this, it's not that much farther than this might indicate, this hand gesture that I'm doing. I would want to say, let's see, how many feet in a yard? 3 feet. So I would say it is 3 feet in a yard, right? I want to say less, about 15-20 yards less than is where, around there is how far the bathroom is. And so for the most part I stayed within this area, and would walk. That would be my walking. I would kind of like walk back and forth. I also walked a little bit up and down the stairs, not fully, because the stairs go like here, like this to go upstairs to the second floor. So I just walked up and down here and did different stretches on these stairs, but that's pretty much the movement that I did. I considered going for a walk before actually being in labor. I considered going for a walk around the neighborhood because I read a lot of birth stories, and I read how women would go on walks to help their labor along, and I probably would have scared the neighborhood if I went outside, so we just stayed inside. Yeah, I wonder if the neighbors heard me. I know that where we live, we rent a downstairs area in my boyfriend's cousin's house, and so they live upstairs, and then there's also a tenant in the back. And I know that they heard me. Funnily, there's I don't know how young the daughter is, but I think that my partner's cousin or her boyfriend had told the mother that, you know, I was in labor, but I don't think that she told her daughter, so she she was like wondering what was going on because she was hearing all these noises, and yeah, that maybe it. I can only imagine what people were thinking, but throughout my labor, here and there, when the door would open, I'd hear like the girls upstairs, and they'd be like, "Is she in pain? Is she screaming? Is she in pain?" And I told them, like, after the fact, I was like, "Yeah, I was in a lot of pain. I'm sorry." I apologize to everyone because I really didn't expect to be screaming the way I did. But yeah, I was very loud. I was very loud. I couldn't help it. I really couldn't. I couldn't contain it. There was just no way. Let's see. Yeah, all the different positions that we tried, like some of them, like my midwives were trying to have me like position my legs in a specific way, and I didn't want to be in certain positions because I just felt like so uncomfortable, and it was painful. Like I can say, like, I was in excruciating pain. And so like certain positions I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Certain the things that they were doing to like help me, like lifting up my belly during contractions, like all these different things that they had me do, I hated them. Oh my goodness, I hated them so much. But I did my best. I did my best to try the things because I did want to help. Like I wanted to help labor move along. But it was hard. I was really struggling. And I'm no longer ashamed or feel bad to say that, because this is just my real experience. And as much as I might have wanted to have a calm labor and birth story, just because I felt like I would have felt more like I think I would have felt like I really achieved something great had it been this calm experience, but I still did achieve something great. Having excuse you, having the very hard labor that I had. And hi. Anyways, I mean, in the end I did it. In the end, I had my home birth and I got through it. And for that, I'm proud of myself. I know. I wanna hide her face because I don't know yet how to edit out her face. And it just sounds like a lot of work right now, and so I don't want to do that. What was I saying? Yeah. Yeah, considering how long it was, considering how tired I was and how much pain I was in and how much I was struggling, the fact that I did it at all, and the fact that I was able to successfully have my baby here, have my birth here, and push her out in the bathroom. Yeah, that's where I ended up, not in the birth pool, but in the bathroom. That's still a success story. And that's okay. That is something to be proud of, and I am very proud of myself for getting through that. And I don't feel embarrassed that I didn't have a calm labor and delivery, like, because in the end I did it, and I gave birth to a healthy girl. And I caught her with my own hands. Like, that's badass. I felt badass for that. Anyways, let me go back to the point where I felt myself pushing. I started to feel like I was pushing, but it felt different. Like, it felt like that fetal ejection. I mean, I don't think it was that, but like I felt like it in like that area, like I needed to poop is like what it felt like. And so I got onto this bed, and I had my exercise ball, and I was like I was rolling on it while I was pushing. And then Alex, I think she's the birth assistant. She was in the room with me, and she guided me through pushing. And so she told me to, when it felt like time to push as if I was gonna push out a big poop, and that helped a lot. It was hard because I almost didn't like that feeling. I didn't like it because it was so intense, but in the end I did it. And then she recommended that we move to the bathroom and have me sit on the toilet, since it's natural. That's a natural feeling in that position. And so we ended up moving to the bathroom, and funnily enough, my boyfriend, he had fallen asleep on the bed. I mean, he was so tired. He had been up basically for most of the time, for most of my labor. He was up. And so he had fallen asleep, and unbeknownst to him, I was in the bathroom and I was pushing, and I could feel her traveling through my canal. And yeah, like it was go time, and he didn't even realize it. Like he yeah. Anyways, when I was on the toilet, my doula, she had asked me, she was like, do you want me to wake him up? And the way my brain works is really funny, because I was like, no. I'm like, no. I'm like, it's okay. I mean, I was thinking like he was so tired, and also I was like, I'm just gonna pop up with a baby. Like, I'm just gonna go with him, and like, here, I gave birth already. But I'm so glad that she went to go get him, because he saw me push her out. Now, I was sitting on the toilet at first, and I was pushing, and I could feel her head coming out. And I knew that I couldn't push her out while I was sitting on the toilet. Like, I had to get up. But I was so weak. I was so fatigued that I wasn't very confident that I could push her out standing up, let alone catch her. And so I was standing up. I had one hand down there, as if to catch her, and then I had like one hand on the sink. But when the time came, at first I was asking for help. I was like, can you help me? I think I asked if they could help me, but maybe they didn't hear me, or maybe they did. But I ended up putting both my hands down and catching her. And yeah, that will legit forever be the coolest thing that I have ever done. Catching my baby in my own hands after that long marathon. Yeah, hands down the coolest thing. And yeah, and then everything was just happening. Towels were brought to me, and she was crying, and they were helping me get the fluid out of her, and I had my baby in my arms, who I was carrying inside of me for as long as I did. Yeah. That is pretty much it. I mean, it's not going to be the last time that I tell it, so maybe I'll remember certain things or tell it in different ways, but yeah, here we are now, almost 5 months later, and I don't know what else to say. So I guess I will just say I'm going to feed her. And maybe the next video I do will be about my breastfeeding journey so far. Yeah. I'm going to end this now. Thank you for listening. Bye.